Welcome back to All the Cars I've Loved Before, your authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia, where our guests are unique. Each auto has an era, and every car tells a story, so you know what time it is. It's time to plug in, get a little grease under the nails, and slip on that favorite car-themed t-shirt, hat, or jacket. Let's welcome back our listeners from all over the world. Get ready, Doug. We're going to go around the world. It's one of my favorite parts of the show here. Frankfurt, Germany. So these are the people that have listened in the past week to any of our, wherever you get podcasts, they've listened to the podcast there. Our YouTube presence, different stories. So here we go. Bern, Switzerland. You've heard of that one, right? Frankfurt, Germany. Stockholm, Frankfurt. Sweden. Canada, Italy. Los Angeles, California, Wichita, Kansas, Toronto, Canada, and welcome back to everyone in New York, and Brooklyn, New York. So, let's see, a lot of repeat listeners over the past week in Switzerland and Germany. Maybe it was, we did that chocolate-themed car show. What do you think? You remember that? The old Toblerone GTS? Love that. Oh, and I have one for you. Check this out. Okay, so we had listeners over the past week. We've never had this kind of neat in Zurich, Switzerland, and also Lake Zurich, Illinois. Do you think those two are related? Related by marriage? By what? By boat? By something? Wouldn't you think?
Some transplants.
Some transplant. I love that. Old York, New York. Love it. Dig it. So anyway, welcome back, Doug. How you doing, partner?
I'm doing great. Great to be back here with you.
Yeah, indeed. And what is with the? So, how much time did you spend in the garage over the past weekend with one or many or all or none of your automobiles?
Pretty much none, but I do.
It's been a busy couple of weeks, I know.
I do have a quick story about a garage. So, as all our listeners know, I own a DeLorean, so I had to pick up my DeLorean from somebody in New Jersey to transmission repair work. So I drove it back to my DeLorean buddy who lives in northwest of Baltimore, and he had the authority, because DeLoreans are stainless steel, he had the authority, worldwide authority, make sure I get his name right, Chris Nichols in from Australia to regrain the stainless steel on cars. So there were probably 15 DeLoreans there. Now they had to leave before I left, but I got a lot of pictures, and my friend had just finished this huge garage. I think the garage itself can hold about 15 cars.
Man, that's big.
Huge.
Okay, so very interesting. And before we bring in today's guest, all right, so the regraining thereof, when you get very close up on your car, there's just this very, very characteristic or very unique detail to the stainless steel. So what does regraining mean? Did you see the machine that did it? Is it some sort of sanding or what?
Yeah, what is it? I think it's called a Wolf's wheel. Is at least the type of pad that's used, and it's just a process. And somehow this Chris Nichols he's renowned for it. He knocks things out. He just knows how to do it. But he takes away just a very thin amount, and he just has the recipe to success. So much that people from Maryland, D.C., Virginia, and Pennsylvania were bringing their cars to this one location to have their cars worked on.
Fantastic.
Chris Nichols. And what's interesting is supposedly he's so well known, I've actually seen it advertised. They say that if you have your car regrained by him, it actually adds value to the car.
How interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so have you communicated with him at all? Do you think we could get him on the show?
It's possible. I did meet him. I shook his hand. Well,
that's great.
But I knuckle bombed him. So yeah, we can talk to him. He's back in Australia now. So we figure that out. But
just in town for the work and maybe a quick visit. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so you got pictures. Do we have them up on the website yet?
We don't, but we will by the time this comes out.
Lovely. Okay. Fantastic. What else are we going to get into? Let's see. Okay. What's going on with the shirt?
Let's see.
You always have the best wardrobe. What's happening with that
Well,
shirt?
I'm always eyeing
In
the
honor of
new
today's guest,
shirts.
obviously.
Yeah, so it says Tahoe Road Rally. It is a Ferrari, kind of a Ferrari Daytona, I think.
Okay.
Probably not Daytona not being the real name, but we have our expert on who will kind
And
of
she'll
comment.
set us straight. But,
Yes.
you get these shirts at Old Navy and they say, the Topeka, Kansas Maserati rally. And it's a
Hmm.
bunch of goofball baloney. There's no such thing. But it
Yeah.
sounds so interesting. It
Yeah.
pulls people in. And what do you expect for a $9 shirt after all? Oh, so we have a new news page on the website for our press releases that come out. I'm sure we're going to be picked up in the Wall Street Journal any day now, correct?
It's in the works.
Absolutely.
It's in
Or
the
the Main
works.
Street Journal. One of the two. What else do we have? I think that's all the
Oh,
housekeeping. What
oh,
else?
you were going to
We got
ask
some.
me about a color.
Oh
Remember?
yeah. So
For
what's
what
up with
it's
the
worth.
car? Did you choose a color to
Oh,
paint your dream car from high school that's now
yeah.
your nightmare car sitting in your garage? Let's hear
Yeah.
all about the color choice.
So the 1990 Nissan 300ZX.
Mm-hmm.
So it is black, or it was originally black. As you know, I'm a fan of silver cars.
Yes.
So I spent a lot of time thinking about it. My kids are like, paint it silver. Somebody else said paint it back to black. So I decided to go in totally the opposite direction. So there was a pale yellow when those
Mm-hmm.
cars came out. And I had to look it up before the show. It's called a yellow pearl glow, or a yellow pearl. And it's just a beautiful color. You don't see it very often in the Z's. At least I don't know that I've ever seen one in the last, since I've owned the car at least.
Okay.
And occasionally I do see Z's, but so yeah, it's like
It
a
sounds
pale yellow. 90s.
wow. It sounds very distinctive.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to stand out. And, it's funny, in the past, I never would have owned a yellow car or red car ever
Yeah.
again because of speeding tickets. But now in my 50s, I don't drive that fast, so I'm okay with that.
Beautiful. Can't wait. Can't wait to see
Yep.
it. Would like to see some swatches of the color. Moving on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for sharing that. Everybody, ensure that you're checking us out at carsloved.com, carsloved.com. Leave a review if you like what you hear. Please share with others. Helps us grow so that, maybe when everybody on this planet is done listening to us, hey, we can start on Mars or the moon, something like that. So we really are trying to grow the fiefdom. Carsloved.com. Check us out. But what about the link tree? You want to give them the link tree?
Sure, you bet. linktr.ee/carsloved.
Beautiful. And you can leave a review wherever you get your podcasts or on the site. Email us, Christian at carsloved.com, Doug at carsloved.com, if you have anything to share. And with that, I think we're done with all of our housekeeping and mindless banter. Off to the green room we go. So, Doug, how did today's special guest make it to our virtual garage?
Yeah. So in a roundabout way, through all the social media and YouTube and the fact that Ferraris are awesome, we as it turns out, some mutual people in the industry who work on Ferraris and restore Ferraris, we found Colleen Sheehan.
Yay! Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Well, so how are you doing, Colleen? Welcome.
Hello. Great to be here.
Thank you.
Leave it to me to step all over the introduction, but fantastic to have you here. And wow, please continue, Doug. So how did you reach out? How did she respond? And
yeah, I think it was just via email, and just sometimes you get people on the right day, and she responded right away, and we did some coordination, and here we are, and we're talking to Colleen live from California, from her shop for those of us who see it on YouTube, there's a beautiful, beautiful fish tank behind her.
Yeah. Yeah. Cars, fish, dogs. Yeah. Simple person.
anything with wheels. Yeah, for sure. Love it. And I'm sure that during the interview, I'm going to get caught just sort of mindlessly looking at these hypnotic, beautiful looking at them. So if there's just complete silence, which you absolutely don't want in any interview show, it is due to me.
That's all right. We rolled with it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So what are you up?
Yeah, what are you up to these days, Colleen? What's your latest project? What are you doing these days?
Well, so I've always been around, cars my whole life, and I've been in the sales business for over 12 years, 13 years now, I think. And last year I started my own dealership called Next Generation Classics. So, that's pretty much my not 9 to 5, like 7 to 10, but
easier to sell the hours that you don't work. Running your own business, I imagine. Running your own dealership. So what kind of cars do you specialize in? What kind of clients do you specialize in? Do you take on new clients? Do you have a kind of a closed book of business? How does that work?
So my specialty has always been Enzo-era Ferraris, basically kind of like the 70s and older Ferraris, but that's just my real specialty. I sell all kinds of stuff, newer Ferraris. Currently I have like a Ford Model A, a couple of Panteras. I just sold a Porsche Turbo S. So, all kinds of stuff. Fairly wide variety.
So do you have a showroom? Will you broker things virtually? How does that work?
Yeah, I have a showroom, and basically there's kind of 3 different ways that people normally sell cars. Like when they're in the industry, you're a dealer or a broker, or you consign. And so I do a little bit of all of it. I'm a licensed dealer, but I also, which most dealers own their own inventory. So I have some of that, but then I do some consignments. I have clients, just recently I had another client. I sold him a 1966 Corvette, and he's sending it back to me to sell. And then a little bit of brokering where, somebody says, I want a F40, and so I find them one and just kind of the middleman in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing to me, just not just how connected people are, but just for instance, and I'll go down to the simple thing, but I have a friend on the Eastern Shore of Maryland he's a Z guy. He's got tons of Zs. He's got a tractor trailer full of parts. And he always hears about Zs. And why is that? Because all his network knows that he is the Z guy. So he'll find out about cars that just aren't for sale. And I'm sure it's like that for you with these exotic cars, including Ferrari.
Mm-hmm. And all around the world, too. I mean, I sold a Lamborghini Diablo SVR from Australia, last year. And just random guy emailed, wanted to sell his car, and happened to know who might be looking for one. And, so it's when you have that real specialty, you get all the people calling you about it.
Yep, in that niche. And I did want to ask you, so you find these cars, some of them may need some work, right? When you find them, how do you get them repaired?
It depends. So there's a few different shops in my area. And it depends what it is too, right? So if it's a new Ferrari versus an old one, there's definitely 2 different shops for that. So, and if it's a Corvette, it might be different. If it's, so each one, there's a different shop that specializes in them. The nice thing about where I live in Southern California is it's car mecca. We have no lack of cars and exotic shops to work on them here. So there's pretty much a shop for anything around here. I mean, even with with your DeLorean, there's a guy who specializes in DeLoreans out here. And I've been to his shop and he has like 30 of them there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of crazy to walk in there and it's just a fleet of DeLoreans, but there's a specialist for everything.
Yep. Is that in Huntington Beach? Okay. Yep. I haven't been out there, but I know the guy or know of him. So, yep. Yeah. Have you ever had to ship a part in from somewhere, let's say Italy?
All the time.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just coming from my knowledge of we had that past episode with Tom Young, and I know you know Tom, but just the amount of the perfectionism that is involved in that craft that you see the end result of. He's restoring cars for people, you're selling them, and just like a scratch in the window that couldn't be buffed out. He had to have the window recreated, not just the window, but the stamp in the window.
Yep.
And,
it's when you get into all the real details, it's crazy. It's cool when you know all the little details too.
yes.
I mean, I know a lot, I'm still learning, but that's part of the fun, is learning all the new little fun details like every single day.
Hi, this is Christian with To All the Cars I've Loved Before, your authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia. Hey, have you ever thought to yourself, I love this show so much, I wish it would come out weekly instead of bi-weekly? Well, guess what? You asked, we answered. Henceforth, that means from now on, you're going to get a piping hot new episode of To All the Cars I've Loved Before weekly instead of bi-weekly. How do you like that? We will see you on your mobile telephone streaming device of choice weekly from now on.
Sorry, Doug. I just want to hop in here. That is so interesting to me. Do supply chains ever get snarled? Do you ever get stuck waiting for a part and somebody's sort of stamping their feet? Are there deadlines in your line of work? Or can you kind of put people off? How does that, how often does that happen?
Well, luckily, because I sell the cars, usually I'm not overseeing too much of the restoration process or service work.
Got it.
Although sometimes I am, and that, like right now, I have a De Tomaso Pantera I'm selling that's having some engine work done, and some of the parts got, caught up waiting on them, and ended up the potential buyer found a different car in the meantime, just because it took too long to get the parts in. So that definitely happens, and that is never fun. I have. So one of my personal cars, I have a Lancia Delta Integrale, and the cam belt snapped a while back. So it's a whole top end rebuild, and getting parts for that. Luckily, you can find them, but they're, overseas and got to get them shipped in.
Sure.
And so it's part of the chaos of exotic cars.
Yep. And the challenge and the fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I started asking you about getting the cars repaired, and so we talked about parts, but Christian and I have been fortunate enough to have people interview students and instructors from both Weber State College. They have an automotive repair or automotive tech program. And then most recently, McPherson College in Kansas, when their auto restoration program. Do you ever seek out those type of candidates for car repairs, or have you seen that done where this guy came out of McPherson and I gotta have him?
So I have. Right. And I have seen some of the shops are definitely looking for, because it is getting harder to find qualified mechanics for these kind of cars. If you think of any mechanic working on modern cars, it's mostly computer work at this point, or simple oil change and like the kind of basics. So the kids coming out, the people coming out of these colleges that specialize in these classic automotive cars, it's very desirable for shops because you're getting somebody who you don't need to train them from the bottom up. They've already learned a lot and are qualified. And each, whether you're going to like a Porsche specialty shop or a Ferrari specialty shop, there's some finesse for each that you're going to have to learn, the little minute details of the different kinds of cars. But in general, if you're coming out of one of those colleges, then you are leaps and bounds ahead of anyone else they could hire.
Good point. Yeah, that's such a good point about Weber State, because their program is actually co-located with the IT, or the computer science program. They share the same building because as you rightfully said, working on a car now is like working on a computer. So it's just very different from some of the early model cars.
And then you have McPherson, who's on the totally opposite scale, right? Where early 20th century cars, right? We had Cash on, right? What is Cash's daily driver? I think it was a Model T or Model A. And when we had Chris on,
something like that.
Yeah. And Chris had a family of Model Ts. Like, he used to go on family trips where they would tow the Model T behind them, the family. He got a Model T. His daughter has a Model T. It's just so incredible to talk to them. And they had a great win about 2 years ago at Pebble Beach, actually, with their, I want to say it was a 30s Mercedes. It was a big win. So that really put them on the map. But I love hearing
1953 Benz, right?
What's that?
1953 Benz, I thought.
Yes, 53. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. So, Colleen, before we go back in time and start talking about your earliest automobiles and the ones that made a great impression on you, is there a way for our listenership to find out what cars you have for sale? How can they learn more about what you do and what you offer? Is that public knowledge?
Definitely. So my website is nextgen-classics.com, and I have some of my inventory on there and my contact information. But I also post a whole bunch on social media.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of stuff on my Instagram. If I get a new car in, you'll definitely see it on Instagram long before you'll see it on the website, because when I get a new car in, I like to do a full video for YouTube on the cars. And I don't want to do sales pitchy videos. If you want to buy a car, you're going to call me with questions. I want the videos to be informative and to go over like the histories of the cars and what makes each car unique and special. So that takes some time to get done. So it takes a while to get a car up on my website. So most of my new inventory you'll see on my Instagram or TikTok or one of those social medias.
Yeah. And a big shout out to your YouTube channel. I love how you kind of play with the format. In one of them, I don't know if it's the Iraqo, where you're kind of driving the car. You just get to listen to it. And it's only a minute or so long. It's just a wonderful little piece of film, as well as I love that they're almost like little documentaries where you get a history lesson and the difference between these two. And these sold this many units here versus its next model successor. So I think that's very well done. So I would, and you'll see this in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast, but it's really compelling content. Go check out her YouTube channel. So what do you think, Doug? Are we ready to plop her in the DeLorean and take her back to the future? What do you think?
Yeah, and we're gonna take her back to age 11. Although I think she owned the car before then.
Yeah. Yep. So my first car, I mean, my whole car history is definitely not your typical first car story. And so my dad's the reason I got into this business. And when I was a little kid, he was selling a large collection of cars. And most of it was more, the like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, that kind of stuff. And one of the cars in the collection was this little 1930 BMW. And the buyer of the collection was like, I don't really care about that car. It doesn't really fit. And so that's like, I'll take it as part of my commission. My kids will love it. So I got the car when I was 8 years old. And when I was 11, Pebble Beach, the Concours d'Elegance, was doing a exhibit with Austin Sevens. And BMW had bought the rights to basically recreate the Austin 7. So the very first BMWs they look a lot like the Austin 7. So it fit into this Austin 7 class. And so when I was 11, the car was entered in the Pebble Beach Concours. And I ended up driving it across the podium. We got third in class, which has a fun story behind it all on its own. But so I ended up learning how to drive in that car.
And your twin brother was with you, right? As well?
Yes.
I think I saw the picture. Did he learn to drive it as well?
No, actually. So funny enough, my brother never really was super interested in cars. He thinks they're cool, but he's more into technology and computers and that kind of side of the world.
Yep.
Whereas, I always wanted to get my hands dirty and learn how to wrench on cars and drive cars and anything that smelled like rubber and gasoline.
Yep. Yeah, and it just, just you saying that and talking to you reminds me of our talk with Kat DeLorean, where Christian, what did she say? Her veins were full of gasoline.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's
and
right. Maybe it was transmission fluid. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the very special, father-daughter bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how wonderful it is. And I'm just, hearkening back. I wish both of my kids were interested in cars. They're really not. But
yeah. I know. Well, I mean, at least I was. And
and are
one of us.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And I do have to ask, so 1930 BMW, what was it like to drive that? Because, right, it didn't have any modern advances, right? Probably had an electric starter, but beyond that.
So basically, if you could drive that, you could drive anything.
Including a tractor, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Probably very similar.
Hey, if you could drive a Countach, you could drive a tractor. So, that's not saying a whole bunch, but I think so. When I learned how to drive in that car, I had already been racing go-karts and stuff for a long time. Oh. So I had a basic idea of driving, but I didn't know how to use a clutch. And so I learned how to drive manual that day, the day before the concourse. And basically that car, and I still have that car to this day. I'll never give it up. It's, it's just too special to me. But so that it doesn't even have drum brakes. It has cable brakes. I mean, everything about that car is so crude. When you're going down the street, you kind of dribble. And you're just working as hard as you can just to keep it in your own lane. And it's fighting you, trying to bounce this way and that way. And it's so much fun. It's exhilarating. And, it has a top speed of like 35 miles an hour. And that's if you're brave, right? Because the whole frame of it is wood. And so if you, hit a possum, the whole thing shatters, but and then the possum's angry at you and walks away cussing, but I mean it's just like this silly little car that is in no means is it like utilitarian or easy, but that's part of what makes it so much fun.
How many of those are left in the States even?
Well, I know of two.
Okay.
Both of them are in my garage.
Okay.
uh, so I've only ever heard of a couple others. I actually haven't seen another one in person. Basically, mine was the oldest BMW in the United States, and it might still be. I think there's rumors somebody imported one that could be older than mine, but I haven't seen it yet. But basically, they made quite, a few thousand of them. But the problem is they were made in the very late 20s and early 30s, and they were German. So a lot of them were destroyed in the war.
Right.
So not too many survived. You'll probably find a few back in Germany, in Europe, but in the US, there's, probably 4 or 5 of them. And I don't know that for sure. I know for sure there's 2.
Yep.
But I don't know of any others, certainly, but there probably are a couple.
Pretty rare. And that's really in contrast to, I know it's not your second car, but it's your handle on Instagram and TikTok. You'll have to tell me the year, but it's a Ferrari 365 GTB 4C. So we'd love to hear about it. I think I know what the C stands for, but I think our listeners and Christian would like to understand that whole line and what the significance of that model is.
So that is the Daytona, so the Ferrari Daytona, but the competition version. So it's the Comp Daytona. And those were basically 1969 to like 73. So the Daytonas are so interesting. They're one of my favorite cars. Basically, there were about 1,300 Daytonas made, and Ferrari only made 122 Daytona Spiders, but they only made 15 Comp Daytonas. And there was a prototype, and then there were a few conversions done in period, but original, there's only 15, and it was 5 each year. So there's 3 series of them. So the series 1, 2, and 3 have some slight differences, all alloy versus alloy, doors and hood, that kind of thing. But they're just the most incredible cars. In my opinion.
And what year is yours?
Mine, I wish I had one.
Oh, I thought you did. My bad. But that is your dream car. Then we kind of jumped ahead.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I would love. I have 6 cars, and sadly, none of them are Comp Daytona. But I would love to. I would love to have one.
Wow. And have you driven? Actually, this is more the broad question. What's it like to drive these? I'll say Ferraris, just because, but. I love the exhaust note and the sound and just in your videos, but what's it like to drive those cars? You look like you're having a great time, but there's more to it than that behind the scenes, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love them. So it depends on the car. They're all so unique. And that's part of why I love them so much is they have their own personalities. And so some cars, so like the Comp Daytona, for example, the Comp Daytona is front engine V12 with no power steering. So it's very heavy. It's kind of a freight train of a car where if you need to parallel park or get around slow, you're getting a workout. It's a brute. But when you get up to speed, that's where you really feel connected. First you feel the power of it because it's a bigger car, but you feel just, it's a lot more agile and it just comes to life. And the no power steering gives you a really good sense of connection to the car to the road. Just you feel everything. And so I love it for that. But a lot of people don't like the Daytona because of the lack of power steering, because it is a difficult car to drive around town or at low speeds. It's, it's a GT, it's a Grand Touring car. So, those cars are definitely a certain kind of feel, but it's like a more masculine kind of car. Whereas if you think of like a 355 6-speed, those are a lot more light and nimble and kind of go-karty, and they have less of a aggressive masculine sound to them. They have a much more kind of that high-pitched like you just feel like the speed and the everything from the sound of it. Just I love them both, but they're opposite kind of spectrums. So driving a Ferrari isn't like a one fits all. It's each one is so unique, and that's part of the fun of them.
Yep.
That's so beautiful. That's so interesting, the way she just explained connection and the different kind of souls and outputs and notes of the car. That's really neat. I've never heard it described that way. Yeah. That was great.
Yep. I would say having owned 2 rear engine cars, like there's just something different about having the engine in front of you versus behind you. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but it's just so, if you're used to having an engine in front of you, like 99.999% of everybody else, when you have it behind you, it's just a different experience.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, especially with how some of the cars are done, like the Dino. It's not a very fast or powerful car, but because the engine is right there behind your head, it sounds amazing. And it's just, it's right there. You really feel connected to it. And then it has a shorter shift to it. So while you're not actually going that fast, you feel like you're going really fast. And I would rather drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow any day of the week. So driving something like a Dino, and just when you're sitting at the traffic light and it turns green and you're in a Dino and you can really just stomp on it and, just go through the gears and try your hardest, and you're still not getting in trouble because you're not going that fast. It's so much fun.
Love that.
Oh, so we have a Ferrari story we didn't get a chance to tell you about.
Boy.
Was it, what year was it, Christian?
The fateful year of 2004. We were each married in 2004, but luckily it was to different women. But please continue.
So Christian's wife wanted to get married in Vegas. I think it was her idea, not yours, right?
Correct.
And so Christian's like, let's do a combined bachelor party. We just did it all. And we rented.
The problem with a bachelor party is that only 2 people will fit in a Ferrari. But please continue with the story.
But that was just perfect. So we rented a 1994 Ferrari 348 Spider, which was an awesome car to drive. It was incredible. I don't recommend one without air conditioning in August.
Correct.
In Vegas.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
When you've had a night of drinking before.
Oh, no.
I could not wait to return that car. I hate to say it.
The morning was phenomenal. Oh, man, I forgot all about this. But we went, we picked it up, paid an outrageous amount of money.
Yes.
Overinsured it. But then we drove it to Hoover Dam.
That was awesome.
That was such a wonderful time. We should get pictures of that up on the website.
Yeah, you're right.
Do we? Yeah, we should. But that was really a lot of fun. Boy, everybody was talking to us at red lights. We pulled up to the Venetian, and we looked like superstars. Too bad the license plate bracket said Dream Car Rentals, which sort of blew the whole, for those that checked out the rear. But I forgot all about that. Good times, good story.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the funnest automobile in history to say its name, the Lancia Delta Integrale.
Yep.
Let's hear about it. What was it like? How did you get it? What did you do with it? Where is it now?
So I got it actually off Bring a Trailer.
Look at you.
I've sold a few of them. The works cars, so the factory group A cars, and I fell in love with them. The Delta Integrale and then the Lancia 037 were two of my favorites. I mean, you gotta love a Stratos. Obviously, that's, an icon car, but there's something about the 037 and then the Delta Integrale and the S4, which is kind of in between those two. I just loved it. But the thing about the Delta Integrale is when Group B rally racing was banned, the Lancia already had the Delta Integrale homologated and basically ready to go. And so when Group B was banned and they went to Group A, Lancia was like, here you go, we got you. And all the other manufacturers didn't have anything ready. So the Delta Integrale was and still is the most winning rally car of all time. And it's just awesome. It's such a fun car. They made 4 basic variations: the 8-valve, 16-valve, Evo 1, and Evo 2. Mine is a very basic little 8-valve, but you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to have a whole bunch of fun. And so, this is on the less expensive end, which means I could just romp around and enjoy it and not worry so much about, having a super collectible Evo 2. But these are also cam belt cars. And so it's belt driven, and it's a interference engine, and the belt snapped. And it's at the shop right now getting a whole top end rebuild.
Mamma mia. Sorry, go ahead.
Which is not cheap, but buy a 80s Italian car, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
But your face lights up when you talk about it. So there is that. Fantastic.
And
good deal.
Yeah, I was just reading that it's the Italian version, because you said Evo. It made me think Italian version of a Subaru WRX or Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Mm-hmm. So I guess it gets a lot of comparisons from that Group B rally.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a homologated rally car. It's just so much fun. It's funny because, I specialize in classic Ferraris and all that, but I have a very eclectic personal collection of cars. And most of them, besides the Lancia, most of them are extremely slow and just, you kind of wouldn't expect it. But that's some of the most fun, it's like, I mean, I prefer it that way. I drive fast, exotic cars for a living all the time, and so slowing it down a little bit. And like one of my cars I'm working on right now, I have a 1950 Willys pickup truck.
Jealous. Very
nice. Awesome. I have it pulled apart in my driveway right now because I'm doing the front brakes. But it's just granny gear, just plunder down the road, and and everyone stops and loves it. And I just love driving it.
Nothing like a unique car to put a smile on people's faces. It just happens everywhere around the world. It just happens. Yeah. Well, Colleen, this has been a treat. As we guide the podcast gently to the off-ramp, I have one last question for you here on the way out. Mm-hmm. Your first car, the 1930 BMW, had a nickname. What was the nickname? Why did it have that nickname?
I call it Sputter. So I name all my cars, my personal cars. And just kind of the way it runs and drives. Yeah. Names just sometimes come to me for these cars, and my BMW had to be Sputter. The other one is called Putter. My Lancia is Guido.
Perfect.
That is perfect. What was the Nissan Maxima? We didn't even talk about the Nissan Maxima, but what was its name? Max?
Well, I had that for 3 days. So that didn't last long enough.
Temp. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I have a '05 Tahoe. Her name is Betsy.
Perfect.
Yeah, just and it fits.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And for sharing some of your day with us. This was a real treat. She is Colleen. Check her out at nextgen-classics.com. Her social media, so the Instagram, the YouTube we talked about. And if you look at that site, again, nextgen-classics.com, you can look at the inventory and learn more about Colleen, who is a walking encyclopedia for all things Italian automotive. She's sitting right now, but believe me, this is wonderful. And we could sit here and talk to you all night, but we know you have to feed those fish and then you have to have dinner yourself. So Colleen, thank you for making time and spending a little bit of your day with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been great being here.
Thank you.
Indeed. You have just heard the high revving, low mileage, late model, heard around the world authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia. He's Doug. Reach him at Doug@carslove.com. I'm Christian. Reach me at Christian@carslove.com. That was Colleen. And as I said, nextgen-classics.com. A lot of great stuff. Check out her social medias. If you like what you're listening here, please follow and tell a friend. Check us out at carslove.com or our link tree at
linktr.ee/carsloved.
Beautiful. I am sure we will see you at the next local car show, showroom, race strip, or concours. We appreciate you taking a lap with us, and we'll see you next time.